Hello, Power Up Nation. I am Pat Council. And I know I said this month is all about freedom, and it is, but I want to add something to that. Let's call this Jazzy July. I know we're on our way to, not quite to the middle of July, but July is underway. And I wanted to call it Jazzy July because this is all about revving up your energy and still claiming the freedom you deserve, because that's what it's all about. Freedom is not something that comes easily. So what I mean by that is, are you born with the right to freedom? Absolutely. Can we give our freedom away? Absolutely. How do you give your freedom away? By actually doing things that you really don't want to do, that brings you an unfulfilled life. If you're living an unfulfilled life, then you're not free. So with that being said, and we'll probably get deeper into that later on, but that's why I want to talk about why you should choose success without conviction. Why choose success without conviction? It's very important that you pay attention to the things that you desire to have in your life. And the reason why you want to choose success without conviction, because I think a lot of times people have conflict over whether they should be successful, how much money should they make, how happy should they really be when the rest of the world is suffering. Well, I have a few theories here of my own. I think that while we empathize with those that are suffering, the reality of it is, if we each put our attention on achieving success in our own right, we'll still make the world a better place. There'll be a lot more happier people. Why? Because when you choose success without conviction, then one of the things you're going to do is you're going to make a decision that, hey, I'm going to be successful. I'm going to do what it takes. And in order for you to get there, you have to actually use your gifts or talents, or gifts and talents. And that means you're going to help a lot of people. So what does that mean? That means not only are you going to be happy, but other people are going to be happy also. But one of the challenges I think that people face is because of the guilt that people sometimes feel, or they think they don't deserve to have success, or they vacillate back and forth between, I want success because when I'm achieving, it feels good. When I'm getting the things that I desire, it feels good. When I'm living the life I desire, that feels good. But then when sometimes I feel guilty, so I let go of that kind of thinking, and I think, oh, woe is me and woe is the other person. Here's the thing, you're going back and forth. And so when you go back and forth like that, there's a conflict, and that conflict exists in, I would say, one of the most important parts of you, and that's in your subconscious mind. So when there's a conflict, your subconscious will have to take some kind of action. So how does it know what action to take? Your subconscious will act on the belief that you are putting the most energy into. This is why it's very important that you protect your thoughts, you protect your vision, you protect your goals and your desire to achieve those goals. Because if you allow someone to cause you to feel sorry, feel sad, and really think that, or feel guilty and really think that what you're doing, all you think about is becoming a success, then you're going to go in a direction you don't want to go. Now, here's the thing about that. As I said, when you vacillate back and forth, you're feeling guilty, and you allow someone to talk you into going in a direction in which you do not wish to go. When that happens, then you have made, I'm trying to find a nice way to say this, but I can't. You've actually made the wrong decision. Why is it the wrong decision? It's a decision that goes against what you truly desire. Have you ever heard the saying, where thought goes, energy flows? Well, that's true. People are influenced by their own thoughts, and then they influence others with the energy that comes from those thoughts. And so what that means is if you're thinking negatively about yourself, well, first of all, you are going to put out that kind of energy. And that energy is going to land somewhere with someone, and you're not going to get the results that you're after. So this is why you have to choose success without conviction. And when you choose success without conviction, this means you won't stand in the way of your own success. This gets rid of the concept of self-sabotage. So now you're moving closer to being the person that you desire to be because you've made a choice. And again, I have to remind you that just because you make a choice that you are going to succeed and you're not going to feel guilty about it, that does not mean you will not encounter challenges. But here's what's going to happen. You will be able to overcome those challenges because your confidence is going to override anything that would stop you. Confidence allows you to learn more. Confidence allows you to have right thoughts. Confidence allows you to take right action. And before you know it, you're getting all the right results. So I want to kind of give you, let's say, a strategy to use in order to pay attention to your thoughts. Pay attention to your success, the success that you desire without guilt, without any kind of conviction. Here's a strategy. When you open your mouth to tell either I'll say it like this, either open your mouth to tell a story that is positive, that is moving you forward, or don't say anything at all. Because you want to be sure to tell things the way you want them to be, because if you say what you don't want, then that's what you're going to get. So be sure to tell things the way you want them to be. They're going to be the way you tell them. Now, I'm talking about choosing success without conviction, and that allows you to speak the right words, or as I said, or you won't say anything at all. You won't speak against your own success. And I've heard a few things on YouTube and different places where some of the, I guess, so-called gurus say, well, affirmations don't work. Affirmations don't matter. Here's the thing. I think affirmations do matter. There's a biblical scripture that says, call those things that be not as though they were. It's said to call them. Now, you can actually call something forth by just thinking about it, because the minute you form a picture in your mind, you're actually putting out a kind of energy that will draw you to that picture that you have in your mind. However, when you open your mouth and those vibrations come out of your mouth, it's going to attach itself to something, and it's going to bring you something back. Now, here's another reason. Let's just say hypothetically, if what I just said doesn't even work, which it does, but hypothetically, if it doesn't work, you still want to say affirmations. And why do you want to say affirmations? For two reasons. Number one, affirmations work when you put feelings behind them. And feelings allows you, again, to emit a kind of energy that makes you magnetic and allows you to attract the very thing that you desire to bring into your life. So that's the first thing. The other thing is, even if none of that works, because we know what we think about, we bring about. When you open your mouth and you speak the thing that you desire, guess what's going to happen? You're going to get a picture of something. There's going to be a picture in your mind of something that you desire, assuming you're holding that picture. But when you speak, when you speak it, that picture pops in there. Now, don't get me wrong. You have to hold the picture in your mind. You have to stick with it. You can't one day see yourself, let's say, driving a new car, and then the next day see yourself walking without a car and still struggling to get a car. So you have to be focused. So this is why you choose success without conviction. So what does success look like to you? Now, I use the car as an example, but it doesn't have to be a car. It can be whatever it is you desire. And we're talking about all good things. And don't hold back on that, because biblically speaking, the scripture says that it pleases God to give us the kingdom. Okay. And so, of course, the kingdom is not just about material things. But the point that I'm making is that when you go towards the highest and best with conviction, without vacillating, without apology, without making excuses, without allowing someone else to influence you and convince you that you are not good enough or that you're less than, when you do that, you stay focused on the prize, you're going to rise to that occasion. There's so many stories of people out there who started with nothing. And they had no idea how things were going to work out for them. They had no idea how they were going to make something happen. However, they stayed the course, not knowing, and doors opened for them. Opportunities presented to themselves. They met the right people. Now, he's since passed on, but Dave Thomas, who was the founder of Wendy's, and he started working at a hamburger shack. He didn't even finish high school. And he ended up building Wendy's. And when he started Wendy's, and then he franchised it. And the next thing you know, he becomes very wealthy, and he does a lot of good things. He did a lot of good things for kids that were in homes. And so he did a lot of great things. And this is a guy who did not have a high school education, but he chose success without conviction. So he didn't allow anybody to convict him and make him feel guilty or make him feel like he didn't deserve something or make him feel like he couldn't do it. So this is how you have to decide. You have to be so strong in your convictions that you're going to make something happen, that no matter what, you have to have that vision, and you can't just settle. You can, but you won't be happy. Choosing success without conviction allows you to focus on the desired end results. You're not switching back and forth. Okay. You are focused on the desired end result. So you guys, have you figured out the key here? The key is that when you are so focused and you are so committed to achieving your goals, whatever that goal may be, it could be personal goals, business goals, it can be both. But whatever it is, when you decide, I'm winning, I'm crossing that finish line, I'm going to make this goal happen, then all of a sudden, and you may have heard this phrase, it says that the universe conspires to work with you, to bring you the things that you desire. Now, in this case, I don't mind saying the universe. Okay. God made the universe. Okay. God has put the things here that we desire, the things that we would like to bring into our lives. So those things already exist. When you choose success without conviction, then all of a sudden things start to open up in your favor. Now, if you're listening to this and you say, really, yeah, I wanted something and it didn't happen. Or you may be thinking, you know what? Once I decided I wanted something, all chaos broke loose. And you know what? Been there, done that. I can remember there were times when I said, okay, this is it. I'm going to focus. I'm going to make something happen. And all of a sudden, it seemed like things just came out of the blue to just try and interrupt my day. But this goes back to choosing success without conviction. Remember, I said that doesn't mean that you're not going to face challenges. Sometimes you have to go through these challenges so that you can not just become stronger, but so that you can add wisdom to your strength. So when you add wisdom to your strength, now you are making something amazing happen or drawing something amazing into your life. So all of a sudden the chaos, you solve one challenge after another. You feel stronger. You feel more confident. And as I said, you've acquired some wisdom, and now it's time for you to go claim your prize. And you get to claim that prize because you chose success without conviction. You didn't let anything talk you out of it. You didn't let any challenge convince you that you're too weak, that you don't deserve it. You get rid of those thoughts. And when you can get rid of those thoughts, before you know it, this is one of the the main themes or concepts behind doing life with power, because you're built by design to win. When you are doing life with power because you're built by design to win, then one of the things that's going to happen is all of a sudden you're going to recognize who you are, what you're capable of. And then you're going to recognize that all the power that God has given you, all the talents that God has put into you, all of those different mental faculties that you have that you have been using. I was going to say not been using, but actually you have been using them, but you've been using them to your own detriment, imagining the worst instead of imagining the best. You have an imagination. Use that imagination to open up your life. And so when you can use your imagination, well, wait a minute, my imagination is going to open up my life. Absolutely. You know what? When I imagine the best, I feel good. I feel that there is so much hope. I feel inspired. I get ideas for how I'm going to make something happen. And so what does that mean? That means that my imagination is now connected to my spirit, because remember, your ideas and your intuition, it's located in your spirit, and it sends it to your soul, which is your mind, will, and emotion. And now you have those two working together. I spoke about this in a podcast last week. And so when those two are working together, now the body says, you know what? I'm in. And the next thing you know, whatever, if you want to write a book, you're moving, because that's a physical action. But your mind, your mental faculties have pitched in and said, hey, let's get this book done. If you want to build something, same method. So you are built by design to win. You do have that kind of power. So you're not in victim mode. And so with that being said, you guys, I want to wrap up by saying this. I know everybody's talking about the big, beautiful bill. And some people are for it. Some people are worried about it and against it. But here's the thing. You need to understand, at the end of the day, whether you're for it or against it, at the end of the day, you have to be in control of you. You have to decide that you're going to take responsibility for the outcome of your life. You have to embrace the things that you desire to achieve, and take responsibility for the fact that you have to do the work. And so now, once you're doing the work, you're going to be amazed, well, at how amazing and magnificent you really are. That magnificence is going to come shining through. I was sharing something, and I'm going to wrap up on this. I was sharing a little story with someone that I was talking to. And so we were talking, and I shared a little bit about my time in the military. So one of the things that I was telling her was that, wow, there were things I didn't know before I went to basic training in the military. There were things I had never done before I went to basic training in the military. But you know what? After that 8 weeks of training, I was stronger. I had more confidence. And that led to me knowing that I could do some other things as well. Okay. Now, don't get me wrong. I can never, ever downplay the role that my family played in teaching me things, and some of the things that I experienced in my family. Got a chance to see a lot of different places, Maryland, Connecticut, the list goes on and on. So that played a role. And so you add that to the things that I learned in the military, or what came from that. And now I got to go to that next level. So this was kind of like, I would say, the two mixed together would be like my foundation for the start of getting an understanding of what it means to do life with power. And when you start to learn what it means to do life with power, you start to not worry so much about what's working and what isn't. As a matter of fact, here's what you start to do. Instead of worrying about it, if you start to realize, wait a minute, I have a solution. And then now you step into the arena to help the rest of the class. Okay. This is what happens when you choose success without conviction. He says, no matter what they come up with, I'm going to win. No matter what. Whether I win or not, it's not up to someone in Washington, D.C. Even if you work in Washington, even if you have the job and they have the power to fire you, still not up to them whether you win. So you have to recognize where your true power lies. So you are never, ever without the ability to move forward, without the ability to win, without the ability to achieve your desires. So make a decision right now. As I said, I decided to add a little Jazzy July and call this Jazzy July. I love alliteration, you guys. I just do. So wherever I can get it in there. So this Jazzy July, so you can rev up your energy and claim the freedom you deserve. One of the best ways to claim your freedom is to choose success without conviction. Listen, you guys, I hope you enjoy this magnificent Monday. And I want you to do life with power because you truly are built by design to win.